It's one of the boldest industrial plays of the 21st century, a government plan designed to rewire an entire nation's transportation system, and it feels like it's happening overnight. By 2050, Vietnam wants 100% of its taxis and buses to be electric or run on green energy. But a critical first step is aimed at its massive urban taxi fleets, with a deadline of 2030. But this isn't just some green policy. Vietnam is using the global EV revolution as a launchpad to build a multi-billion-dollar car industry from scratch, one that is meant to take on the automobile titans of Asia. At the center of it all is one company, VinFast, a homegrown hero backed by the nation's biggest conglomerate, Vingroup, and a massive war chest. This is the story of how a government's audacious vision and a corporation's stunning speed are creating an EV gold rush and trying to turn Vietnam into a car-making powerhouse. The big question is, can they actually pull it off? The national ambition. To really get your head around what's happening in Vietnam, one must acknowledge that Vietnam's capital city, Hanoi, and its largest commercial center, Ho Chi Minh City, are choking in air pollution due to increasing urbanization and industrialization. Vietnam's transport emissions are climbing fast, and the capital has already recorded over 40 severely polluted days in just one quarter this year. The government's playbook to combat pollution was formalized in July 2022 when it rolled out Decision Number 876, a national action plan for a green energy transition. And the roadmap it laid out is breathtakingly ambitious. By 2030, 50% of vehicles must be electric or green energy powered. 100% of all new taxis bought in urban areas must be electric or green energy powered. By 2040, the production, assembly, and import of automobiles and motorcycles using fossil fuels will be discontinued. By 2050, 100% of road motor vehicles use electricity or green energy. Just this month, July 2025, Hanoi announced a plan to start banning gas motorbikes in the city center in July 2026. This ban will gradually include gas cars in 2028 and expand to the greater metropolis by 2030. Ho Chi Minh City is also drafting a plan to phase out gas motorbikes and buses. Starting January 2026, ride-hailing and delivery platform drivers will be allowed to register only electric motorbikes. 400,000 gas motorbikes of these drivers will be transitioned to electric from 2026 to 2028. All buses will be electric by 2027. Plans for these types of transportation bans and transition to electric vehicles are only just beginning in the two biggest cities. It would not be surprising if other smaller cities will follow with similar plans. Now, this is a powerful government directive. The message is clear. Vietnam's transport future is electric, and it's coming a lot faster than anyone expected. Vietnam's current EV transition is mostly dominated by VinFast, which offers a complete lineup of electric vehicles, ranging from the compact VF3 model to the 7-seat flagship SUV VF9 model. In the first half of 2025, VinFast delivered 72,167 units globally, up 3.2 times from a year earlier. 67,569 of these units were sold domestically. VinFast also delivered 114,484 electric scooters, a 5.5-fold increase year-on-year. In just a few short years, VinFast has achieved something that would be unimaginable previously. It has dethroned other well-known global brands to become the market leader. In the first half of 2025, it accounts for 26% market share, while Toyota comes in second at 13%, and Kia is third at 10%. Visitors to Vietnam can already notice a visible change in the ride-hailing taxi industry. Just 2 years ago, Vingroup launched its own ride-hailing service platform called Green Smart Mobility, GSM. Now, it is a common sight to see VinFast private cars and taxis plying the busy city's streets. As of the second quarter of 2025, GSM dethrones Grab to become the #1 ride-hailing service platform in Vietnam, with a market share of 45%, compared to Grab's 36%. Gojek platform had a 30% market share in 2022, which fell to 7% in 2024, before its withdrawal from Vietnam. Simultaneously, the government has adopted some notable policies to encourage faster EV adoption. There's zero registration fee for EVs currently, whereas the fee is 10 to 12% for ICE vehicles and hybrids. Special consumption tax for EVs is only 1 to 3% currently, whereas ICE vehicles face 35 to 135% tax rate, and the rates for hybrids is 70% of the tax rates of equivalent ICE vehicles. The accelerated shift to green energy vehicles is about more than just cleaning up air pollution. This is also an industrial strategy to coincide with the nation's desire to build up its automotive industry and develop an entire economic ecosystem, from local part suppliers to high-tech software engineers, all revolving around the electric car. And to pull off a plan this big, they needed a national champion, the industrial titan. And that's where VinFast comes in. Before 2017, VinFast didn't even exist. Today, it's the tip of the spear for Vietnam's automotive dream. Backed by its parent, Vingroup, the country's largest private company with its hands in everything from real estate to healthcare, VinFast has moved at a speed that has left the auto world spinning. Their main factory in Haiphong is a monument to that speed. Built on 828 acres of reclaimed land, the whole complex went up in just 21 months. It's a high-tech marvel where the body shop is 98% automated, with over 1,200 robots doing the work. The plant can roll out up to 300,000 EVs a year, and the company has plans to scale that to nearly 1 million by 2026. This isn't a company just testing the waters. It's a full-on industrial mobilization. But making cars is just one piece of the puzzle. To really become a global force, Vietnam knows it can't just assemble parts made elsewhere. It has to build the whole industry. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Building an empire from scratch. VinFast isn't just trying to sell cars and motorbikes. It's trying to build the entire supply chain. In 2025, VinFast's localization rate in Vietnam is already over 60%, with plans to increase it to 80% by 2026. That is a monumental challenge. Vietnam's auto industry has always relied heavily on imported parts. Hitting that 80% target means building a whole new network of local suppliers that can make everything from tires, batteries, and electric motors to the complex software that runs a modern car. To make it happen, VinFast is essentially guaranteeing business and investing in its own supply chain, giving local and foreign part makers a massive incentive to set up shop in Vietnam. The pace of their growth is just wild, and its business strategy is nimble. Its focus shifts from US, Canada, EU, to Asia and the global south due to high logistics fees, tough market competition, and unsupporting policies from the Trump administration toward electric vehicles in general. In June 2025, VinFast just inaugurated its second factory in Vietnam with a capacity for up to 200,000 vehicles per year. Its India assembly plant is expected to become operational by next month. VinFast's assembly plant in Subang, Indonesia, is scheduled to commence operations in the fourth quarter of 2025. This relentless expansion sends a clear message. They plan to dominate their home turf and use that as a springboard to go global. VinFast is also tackling the biggest roadblock for EV adoption: charging. Its subsidiary, V-Green, is aggressively building out a charging network across the country. The company is spending hundreds of millions to solve the classic chicken and egg problem, removing a major hesitation for anyone thinking of buying an EV. Currently, it has built a network of 150,000 charging ports across Vietnam. In 2025, it is replicating this strategy in Indonesia and Philippines markets. This all-in approach, from parts and manufacturing to sales and charging, is how VinFast and Vietnam plan to turn a government policy into a world-class industry. What we are witnessing here is an economic chain reaction. The government policy creates the demand. VinFast steps up to meet it, building incredible scale. That scale and a clear policy attract foreign rivals and suppliers. All this investment then builds a stronger, modern industrial base. It's a feedback loop of growth that's changing Vietnam's economy at a dizzying pace. The government's strategy is ambitious, but it's also incredibly risky. Forcing a change this fast is bound to hit some serious bumps in the road. What do you think? Is this top-down approach a brilliant model, Or is it a gamble that's just too big? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you find these global economic shifts as fascinating as I do, make sure you subscribe for more. The roadblocks. Can it actually work? Despite the incredible ambition and unbelievable speed, Vietnam's journey to becoming an EV powerhouse is littered with roadblocks. This is a high-stakes bet, and there's no guarantee it will pay off. The first huge challenge is infrastructure. While VinFast is building its own charging network, getting reliable coverage across the whole country is a gigantic task that will cost billions. The national power grid itself needs major upgrades to handle the extra load from millions of EVs. The World Bank estimates Vietnam might need up to $9 billion in extra power sector investments by 2030 alone. Second, there's the cost. Aggressive sale prices and free charging promotions have helped VinFast to gain market share, but that means VinFast is still losing money per car sale. Building factories and global expansion translate to more debts. It took Tesla 10 years of net losses before becoming profitable. How long can Vingroup's war chest last to support VinFast's ambitious expansion plan? Finally, there is still intense competition from other global brands, as well as Chinese EV brands. Currently, VinFast is dominating due to its expanding charging network, diverse range of vehicle models, and attractive pricing. Surely other foreign players won't easily give up this market of 100 million people with a rapidly expanding middle class. VinFast has no plans of slowing down. Later this year, it is scheduled to release a complete new line of vehicles developed for domestic transportation service business. These models include electric cargo model called EC Van, MPV 7-seater model called Limo Green, Class C SUV model Nerio Green, Class A SUV model Harrio Green, and minicar model Minio Green. The wildly popular concept truck model called VF Wild is slated for release in 2026. What do you think of this evolving automotive market in Vietnam? How must VinFast's competitors navigate the changing market to avoid further market share erosion? In summary, what's happening in Vietnam is much bigger than a switch to electric cars. It's a country trying to use a global technology revolution to fast-track its own industrialization. The government's aggressive push to electrify transportation, especially taxis, lit the fuse. But it's the raw industrial ambition and financial might of Vingroup that has turned that spark into a bonfire. Ultimately, Vietnam is placing a multi-billion-dollar bet that it can leapfrog a century of industrial development and carve out a spot as a leader in the next generation of automaking. And the world is watching. Do you think that this bet will pay off? What do you think of VinFast's strategic developments so far? Let us know your opinions. If you find today's information interesting, please click like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.